Hello, it's Christmas in Thailand and Christmas Eve where you are in the West. The other day, a few of us were sitting around telling stories about our remembrances of Christmas past, and out of nowhere I thought up this thing that happened to me a long time ago, and people said, "Oh, that's a good story, man," and they liked it. So I'm just going to tell it to you without any script, and feel free to delete it or pass it on or whatever you want to do. It's just a little silly story, and it's true. This one's true. When I was 9 years old, we lived in New Orleans, my mother and sister and brother and I. And my dad was out of town. He was out of town a lot. And we didn't have much money. And in New Orleans at that time, the newspaper, the Picayune, Times-Picayune, sponsored this big deal called the Doll and Toy Fund for children. And people would send in money and toys and everything. And the deal was, any child that wanted a toy could come to this thing and they would get a toy. So, of course, I went. It was at the old Pelican Stadium in New Orleans, torn down long ago. It's an old baseball park. And there's thousands of kids there. And it's really cold. I remember it was very, very cold. And we're waiting, and they have this, a lot of twitchy kids waiting, and they would take you out by sections. This section over here. Now you kids come on down and get your toy. And of course, I was in the section that went either next to last or last. And it took a long time. I remember sitting out there for hours and hours. And it was cold, and we're all kind of, when are we going to get our toy? So finally they called our section. We went down under the grandstand. And there's this long line of endless toys. It was pretty, they weren't bad toys. But I went along, and I'm looking at all this stuff, and they didn't have anything I wanted. Of course, what I wanted was high-end stuff like a erector set, or a chemistry set, or better yet, a gun, any kind of gun, even a cap gun. But they didn't have any weapons there. And we're going along, and I just couldn't see anything I wanted. And we're getting to the end, and I'm getting like, am I going to leave here empty-handed? I couldn't. There was just nothing. Till we got right almost to the end. There was this display of children's furniture. And in the middle of all this, there was a little rocking chair for a child-sized little rocking chair. And it was kind of nice. It was painted red, and it had a woven seat and a woven back. It was pretty nice. And something just told me, get that and give it to your sister. My little sister at the time was 4 or 5 years old. And so I took the chair, got on the bus, went home, and I walked in, and my mom said, "Well, how was the thing?" And I said, "Well, it was all right, but there was nothing. It wasn't worth it. It was a drag." And she said, what's that chair? Where'd you get that?" I said, "I got it at the toy thing." "Well, that's too small for you." I said, "I know. I'm going to give it to Lauren." That was my sister. You're gonna what?" I said, "I thought I got this for Lauren. I saw it. I didn't see anything I wanted, and I saw this, and I thought she might like it." My mother, she just said, "My son, my boy, you did this for your little sister?" And I said, yeah, why not? I guess that's what I said. I don't remember what I said. But I do remember the feeling of pleasing my mother. I really like to do that because at the time I was a real little people pleaser and a mama's boy. I got over the mama's boy part, but the people pleaser part, I'm still guilty of that. And oh, she just made over. She thought this was the greatest thing. I'm such a good boy. And that kind of stroke was worth more than any toy I could have gotten. So we put it under our little tree. We had a tree. And my sister came along and she says, I don't know what she said, but she went and plopped in the chair. And my mother says, you can't do that. That's for, you're supposed to wait till Christmas. We didn't have any way to wrap the thing. Of course, how do you wrap a rocking chair? But the little girl, she knew that was her chair. And she loved it. She sat in that thing and just rocked away, rock and rock. And she loved the chair. And that made me feel that much better. I mean, first experience I ever remember where it felt really good to make someone else happy. And she was happy the way only a child can be, if you remember that. I sort of do. A child can be happy, unabashedly, with no reservations happy, and she was happy, and she loved the chair. And a couple of days later, when she got her doll, she just sat there rocking the doll for hours on end and was just really happy. So I remember feeling kind of hypocritical, like, oh, I did this just to make myself feel good, and because I got strokes from my mom and everything. But now, when I think of some of the rotten things I've done in life, and there have been quite a few of those, balanced against the good things, they don't balance. But some things stand out. And that was one good thing for me to do and for me to learn about. And since then, Christmas, I have a hard time with Christmas. Christmas to me is just I don't like it. I'm always happy when it's over and the New Year's comes and the days get longer and we just go back to normal conditions. And I don't like this pressure about giving people gifts at a certain time, because the stores are all ready for you and you walk around, what can I get for this? It's such a drag. Everybody hates it, but we all do it. Well, here in Thailand, I don't have to do that. This is a Buddhist country. But they're going for this thing too. Now there's more and more. We're getting all these malls, and now you hear about Christmas, and you hear these crazy Thai covers of traditional American Christmas songs. So there's no escape. But anyway, I want to say to all of you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I hope you get what you need. Thank you.